The Trump administration is still searching for a narrative that can sell a rapidly escalating US-Israeli war with Iran to the American public. And so far, the president has framed this conflict on familiar terms: self-defense against what he calls a
dire threat to every American,
and even liberation, telling the Iranian people,
"Take over your government, it will be yours to take."
But those justifications are facing increasing scrutiny. Many foreign policy analysts say that there was no evidence for an imminent Iranian threat, and as civilian casualties from the bombing campaign rise, the moral case for intervention is also being challenged internationally. At home, public opinion appears skeptical as well. Several recent polls examined by the New York Times suggest that roughly 6 in 10 Americans oppose military action against Iran. So, as the traditional arguments for war, self-defense, democracy, and humanitarian intervention face pressure, the administration's messaging has begun to take another tone. For example, when the White House's website officially announced the start of the offensive that it called Operation Epic Fury, it prominently featured a New York Post headline aimed at Iran's leadership. Now, demonizing enemies is nothing new in wartime, but critics say that the rhetoric emerging from parts of this administration is beginning to frame this conflict in much broader terms. Not simply a geopolitical dispute, but a clash of civilizations. And that framing may carry far-reaching consequences. One example of this came 2 weeks before Operation Epic Fury began, at the Munich Security Conference. There, Secretary of State Marco Rubio described the United States and its European allies not simply as political partners, but as heirs to a shared Western civilization that was rooted in common history, colonial culture, and Christian faith.
We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it.
Now, since that speech, many of the European governments present in Munich have backed the US-Israeli war in Iran. The historic context here is important. Iran's current government came to power in the 1979 revolution, which overthrew the US and UK-backed Shah. Now, the Shah himself had been brought to power decades earlier, after a CIA and MI6-backed coup removed Iran's elected prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, following his attempt to nationalize the country's oil. So against this context, Rubio's language of civilizational struggle carries historical echoes. But apart from that, inside the US military, watchdog groups say that religious rhetoric surrounding this war is also raising alarms. So this was just a snippet of a full report that I published for South Air Network. Head to my link in bio, subscribe for free or as little as $1 a month. Thanks so much.